If I would ask you to name the things or people you love the most, how long would it take for you to name yourself? In this episode, I will share my personal self love journey and 3 tips that helped me transform my life to become a self love lover. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to your podcast for joyful serenity. My name is Pia, and I am grateful to be a part of your journey in becoming. Today's episode is a very personal episode, and I'm very grateful for you to be joining in on this very, very, very important topic that has been a part of my life for quite some time. If I may say, all of my life. And while it's been a pretty painful and hard thing for me to do, to practice self-love some years ago, it has now become one of my favorite things to do. And I have become a spokesperson for self-love and supporting others in exploring theirs too. And I want to start today's episode with a little story of my personal life so I can take you on this journey. I was born in Bonn, which is Western Germany. It is near Cologne, at the River Rhine. It's a very nice part of Germany. I like Germany overall, but of course, it's where I'm from. So people are very social, are very happy, very optimistic. At least that's what people say about people that come from that area, which is called the Rhineland. And I was born there and I was raised with my 2 brothers. I have a bigger brother and a smaller brother, and my mom and my dad. And when I was 12 years old, my dad left because his job required it, and also my parents got divorced. So as you can imagine, with 12 years, I wasn't really happy about it. I guess nobody's happy about it, no matter at what stage of their lives. But I stayed in Bonn with my mom and with my brothers, and my dad left to Berlin. He was the head of a production company and he was working in the news service. So, of course, it was the year 2000, and in Germany, the new capital, because Bonn was the former capital of Germany, and because Berlin got the new capital of Germany, all the news stations and production companies moved to Berlin. So my father made the decision to move to Berlin, and my mom made the decision to stay in Bonn because she said, I'm not sure if this is the best thing at that stage we are in right now with our relationships for the children to move to a different city where they know no one. And this is just not feeling right for me. So I decide for me and for my children that we will stay here. And from that point on, and of course, being 12 years, it's like coming into the teens and thinking everybody was against me or whatever I did. So I got into this rebellious state pretty soon. I also felt very lost and struggled with self-love, or at least self-acceptance. You know that these are challenging times, of course. I think everybody's been there. And years went by and I really struggled with the relationship with my dad. And he was a very, how can I say? He thought it was very important that you deliver, that you show your worth with things that you accomplish. So accomplishments were something that I thought I had to be. I had to deliver accomplishments to be loved. At that point, I really didn't think that it was it was possible for me to receive, especially his love, without accomplishing anything. So just being unconditionally loved was something that was absolutely not on my mind. Although, of course, my mom always told me and us how loved we are, which is very interesting because I feel like the person you are staying with, if there is a divorce, you just take their love for granted and just try to crave the love of the person that left. Maybe you have made similar, maybe also different experiences. I would love to hear them. If you would like to share, feel free to contact me on my socials. Anyways, so he went to Berlin. I got older and I was very mad and I was very sad and just thought I needed to be perfect and to show perfection, to be loved. There was absolutely no way I could imagine loving myself and practicing self-love. It just wasn't on my table. I didn't even know the word. So when that changed is actually when my father died. This is when I was 18 years old. So 6 years after he went to Berlin and my parents got divorced. He was 49 years old and it was a sudden death. Nobody thought about it. He wasn't sick, at least not from cancer or anything. But we learned later that he had something with his heart, which caused this. And this experience, this immense loss and suffering was, I would say, the initial start of my personal self-love journey, because he just left and I was just facing this situation that life is so precious and it can be over each day for us or for the people we love. There are things happening that are not under our control. And if the person that I tried to prove myself to all the time, and that I thought I needed this love to feel loved, although of course I was loved by my friends and my mom and my siblings, if he just left, there was no need for perfection anymore. I just realized that this was an illusion. And I made a decision. I made a decision after he passed away that I would live my life every day, making the best I can, sharing love and being love myself. Because let's be honest, the only person we have to live with for our whole life is us. Till the end of our life, parents, friends, siblings, people around us will die. But the only person we will really stick with till the end is ourselves. So how dare we not taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves and loving the hell out of ourselves? So that was my personal start of this journey. So I started I don't know if that was early, but just thinking back, I've been on this journey for some time now, and I've totally changed the perspective on self-love. While I heard a lot from my clients and friends I've talked about, and from my workshops that I'm teaching, from my Victorious Visions workshops, that a lot of people, especially women, don't really know the difference between being egoistic and loving ourselves. So most of them put it together. They think taking care of themselves is being egoistic, is putting ourselves before others. But honestly, and this is a picture I paint a lot. First thing, if you're sitting on a plane and the pressure drops, whose mask are you putting on first? so you can help others? Yes, yourself. So put your own mask on first before assisting others. And this is especially something that I learned. And this is why self-love is so important to me too, because as you may know, I am a teacher. I'm an educator. I am a healer. So working with people, with energies, it is so important that I am good to myself and that I am taking care of myself, because if I don't, I can't give to others. Another saying is, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So fill your own cup and then you can share. It just makes sense, but sometimes it is so hard. It feels so hard, right? To accept the fact that we are worthy of taking care of ourselves first, and that it doesn't mean that we are not taking care of others or that we are egoistic if we take care of ourselves. Taking care of ourselves means making time for ourselves to serve others well. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts each day, they say. And from these 60,000, 70,000 thoughts you have each day, about 90% are the same. Again, 90% of the thoughts you think each day are the same. Think about that. So if you want to change or transform your life and become more self-loving, accept yourself and love yourself for who you are unconditionally, you need to take care of your thoughts, right? And what I'm saying and what I want to share with you right now are 3 things, 3 tips, 3 ways that helped me really transform into a self-love lover and spokeswoman. I will share them with you now, and maybe they can help you, serve you, and you can integrate them into your daily life. So first, change your self-talk will change your life. Again, changing your self-talk will change your life. How often do you catch yourself saying, oh, I can't do it. I am too stupid. I'm too fat. I will never get this job. I am so stressed. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good enough. This is what you're telling yourself. And this is also belongs to the 90% of your daily thoughts. So if you're thinking that, which is self-talk, it's the voice inside your head. If you're telling yourself all these things all the time, you will start to believe these things. This is just natural. What we tell ourselves becomes our truth. And what you're doing by telling yourself all these negative things is you are building streets inside your brain. Bit by bit. First they are just small lanes and then they become Autobahn, like freeways. And this is where your thoughts will drive on. So if you create paths of self-destruction, of negative self-talk, your cars are likely to drive on these streets because you have been building them up since some time. So what you need to do is change your self-talk, and this will change your life. Will it take some practice? Yes, I can tell you. If you've done things over several years, it doesn't have to, but it might need some time to be practiced. So I really want to invite you to realize, to be aware of that whatever you tell yourself, you start to believe. And we are not programmed to like changes. So maybe open your heart and mind space to start liking the process of change, embracing change, knowing that everything you do is the best you can do. And some days your best is getting out of the bed and getting the most necessary things done And that's it. And on other days, your best is getting out of bed early, doing your yoga, doing your meditation, going for a run, getting the groceries, getting the kids, teaching a class, and in the end be like, oh my God, I slayed that day. Just be sure and make sure that you are aware of the way you talk to yourself. And I want to invite you to really change that. If you want to transform, start always on the inside. So instead of I can't do it, what could you say? I want to do it. I will practice to do it. Be positive. Be future orientated. Positive affirmations will support you on the way to more self-love. Write a nice sentence. I am loved. I am worthy. I am beautiful. Write these things on a piece of paper and put it somewhere where you can read it. If you don't feel comfortable that anybody else can see it, make sure it is somewhere that you can see it every day. Second thing is start your day right. Of course, you can fall out of your bed and then be super stressed because you pushed the snooze button 3 times and now you don't even have time to just drink a glass of water and a coffee and just get your thoughts together. This is something that tremendously changed the energy of my whole life and the way I approached self-love. I'm giving myself love right then when the day starts. So when I'm waking up, I'm not looking at my phone. I will stop the alarm if I'm not waking up by myself. And then I will stay in bed with open eyes. Sometimes I close them. Depends. if I think that I will be falling back asleep, I will leave them open, watch out of the window, and then just let my thoughts slowly come to life and come back from this dreamland. I take my thoughts and I ask myself, wow, what am I grateful for today? And oftentimes it is things that happened the day before. So for example, meeting a good friend for tea and a cake and a walk yesterday. I'm so grateful for this apartment where I live, for this view, for having slept a whole night. Very good. I'm grateful for the community I have and I feel myself as a part of. So these things, this is how I start my day every day since 3 or 4 years. And giving myself, and this is just like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 4. It's not more, okay? Of course, you can do it longer, but just take 2 to 3 minutes to really sink into the feeling and get your thoughts traveling about what you're really grateful for. And just doing that before you put one foot out of your bed is an act of self-love. You put yourself first before you put on any chores or your phone or whatever it is. You put yourself first. So the first thing you do for you that day is being grateful for things you have in your life. And this is a game changer. And the third thing, the last thing I want to give to you is priorities. Like I said before, put your own mask on first. And don't be scared to talk about that with others. If you fear that others may think that you are egoistic because you do something, I can highly recommend communicating your needs. Whatever it is that you need, you have to tell people, because of course we think that our loved ones can always see inside our head and know exactly what we think. But surprise, it's not actually so. It's just that we think that they know what we think, but that's not true. So please make sure that you articulate whatever it is that you need. So if you need 10 minutes for yourself because you feel exhausted, tired, not focused, then just tell the person. And don't say, don't stress me, I've got too much on my plate. It's not their fault. It's not your fault either. It's just a question of communication and talking about your personal needs. So, for example, just saying, hey, my friend, I would love to meet you today, and I know we've made this appointment, but I'm so exhausted and I could really need an hour for myself or two, just calming down, doing something for myself because I feel so exhausted and I feel I need to recharge. Do you think we can make another date? I would really appreciate your support. Maybe this is something that needs some bravery, some courage from you. And I can really recommend, just try. Just do it. And then you will see what happens. Usually the things we fear the most never happen. Okay? So these are my 3 tips on self-love. First, change your self-talk will change your life. Changing your self-talk will change your life. Second, start your day right. And third, priorities. I hope that this episode served you in one or another way. And if you liked it and if you feel that this is something somebody else could really need to hear, feel free to share this episode on your socials, on Instagram, on Facebook, and tag me at PiaVictoria1. I would really appreciate your support. Also, if you would like to rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, this is highly appreciated. And I appreciate you for tuning in today, and I connect with you soon.